guys, this is Sid Patel, CEO of Beverage Trade Network and USA Wine Ratings, and I'm here on day 2 of USA Ratings. I'm with Kimberly Shannon. She's, the buyer of the wine at Giant Eagle, and she takes care of, multiple SKUs, a lot of stores, and I'm sure, we can go on and on about it. But what I want to talk about is how you can use programming to grow sales, or to pitch them, right? So let's go on different kind of programmings that they have. Most of the chains would have similar programming, so I think this is a very insightful episode with one of the big buyers here. Kimberly, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Great, thank you. No worries. Let's go on. Give them like 10 different programs, that you guys work with.
Tasting in stores. We use an outside company that comes in and does tastings in our select stores. Nothing sells a wine faster than getting it into the consumer's mouth.
Agreed, yeah.
We also work heavily with mail-in and digital rebates, especially escalating rebates. Buying multiple bottles, the rebate increases, so that's very effective. Also, working with unique POS, points of sale.
Customized, with your brand, with a little bit of
something to draw the consumer's eye, our guests' attention to the brand, and then having something there to back it up. Having some facts, some story behind the wine included in the POS, and then bringing yourself into the market. To meet our guests. To meet our guests.
Customers as well?
Yes. And staff, but do staff training, but also it's having someone like that out on the floor, talking to our guest. No one walks away without purchasing your wine.
Nice.
Yes, something in the Midwest. We love having winemakers.
So it's like when you said about the store tasting, right? So because of the legality, we got to hire some other entity that comes and does the store tasting. So in that case, on that day, you want the winemaker to be there, or he can just be there and just talk about the product?
Those are usually separate. The winemaker or someone from the supply side to begin. Those are usually separate from those tastings. Yeah.
Understood. Yes. So that's an additional.
Yes.
Got it. Then what else? Like what about billboards? Is that legal?
We can do billboard advertising, and that's huge, as well as social media. If you have a strong social media presence, we are likely going to find shelf placement or display placement for you. Yes. Racks, we do allow racks. We try and stay away from specific branding if possible, and allow the product to sell itself. But a unique rack to draw their attention first, and then don't clutter it. Lots of side stacks and so forth. Let this product speak for itself and sell itself.
What are the 3 or 4, or maybe let's say 2 or 3 programmings that you've seen being very effective for the supplier? ROI. Like if you invested this much, guaranteed will help you sell.
Yeah. Honestly, the escalating MRIs, mail-in rebates, the return on those is, redemption rate is usually pretty low, but the consumer makes their purchase based on, I'm going to get $10 back, or I can get $24 back. They purchase them, they often forget they have them, or they don't fill them out properly, which benefits the supplier.
But double click on that, meaning can you go in detail? Like how does it work? Do they have to give you a customized shelf talker for that, a bottleneck? How does the whole thing
shelf
work?
talkers usually, and we'll create those in house. We create most of our signage in house. So we will have the offering on the shelf and on the display. Oftentimes they're digital, or if it's not digital, it will print out at the register, and it's something you take and fill out. So those are the ones we tend to have lower redemption rates, but they still inspire purchases.
True. So cross merchandising, do you do that?
We do. We set up points of disruption throughout the store where we cross merchandise in every department, and we call out every month what wines we would like to see there. So we call that our plan display planner, or priority display planner, sorry. And
and that's like a quarterly plan?
Yes, actually it's every 2 months.
Okay.
So if you are earned your way onto the PDP, is what we call it. You're going PDP, Priority Display Planner.
Nice.
Those are the items that must be displayed prior to anything else in the store. So you'll run down your list every 2 months and you'll display those items. And if you have room left, you can use some discretionary product to display.
And all this goes in part of the planning. Then you're going to chat with the supplier. Okay, I may have this for you. So what can you do for us in supporting?
Correct.
that?
Yes.
Understood.
Yes.
What about refrigerators or any other places that they can also leverage?
We have refrigerated wine space in every store. So getting a cold box placement, as we call it, is, every supplier wants that.
True.
Yeah. Because, some wines sell quicker when they're cold, just like beer, cold beer, sold beer. Same with wine, we're finding. And having that mail-in rebate or the social media presence or whatever will secure your spot in that box.
I want to go in a little different direction,
Sure.
right? So let's say I got, my test run of 10 stores and I'm doing good, and now I'm placed at the shelf level everywhere, not like a display or nowhere else. Just my 12-pack is everywhere. What other ways I can, I should start with? Like, my next goal should be like, hey, can we talk about 3K stack at every store, or what should be my slow way to find different kind of placements?
Gauging performance, we usually often will take a select handful of stores in different areas of the market and test that wine. If that wine's performing well, it'll be drawn into the shelf set for every store.
All right.
And if you're performing exceptionally well, you'll earn a spot on the priority display planner.
Okay.
Yes.
So first test store, then a shelf set on every store.
Yes.
And then a floor stack.
Yes.
And that is all data driven, right?
Data driven, yes, all based on performance. But if it's a newer product and you want to get it onto the floor right away, we need that strong programming and that strong marketing presence behind it.
And what is performance like? I remember when I was selling in Total Wine, for example, it was all data driven buying. Like when I just have to see whether how much I'm going to get next week, right? So how it was like, okay, if this week sold a little more than the previous week, I know I would get a couple cases more as a purchase order. But if it's selling less, oh my God, it's going to go a little less.
Sure.
So how does your performance measurement work?
So we measure performance on a multitude of levels. Primarily, we rely heavily on points per distribution. So dollar sales per points of distribution. So if you're performing well, say you're selling $100,000 worth of product in 20 stores, or you're selling $100,000 worth of product in only 5 stores, which one's performing better? So
in days as well, say,
yes,
I'm assuming in 30 days, in 30 days.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
So which one's performing better?
Understood.
Yeah. And then we'll drill down into specific store clusters and measure performance on that level. And then when reset season comes along, as it often does in retail, we'll drill down to store specifics.
Okay.
So is this particular SKU performing well in this store? Is it in the wrong cluster? Is it in the wrong demographic?
Got it. Do suppliers get a chance to ask you how it's doing, or a monthly depletion report? Or
they do. Most of them buy into the IRI data, but we're happy to share that information with them, especially if they're pushing, making an extra push. I'm like, I'm sorry, that's just not performing well enough. What can you do?
Do they get a second chance with you? I mean, after 30 days, if it's really bad?
We try and give everything a fair shake, honestly. And you can't really gauge a product's performance without giving it a full year on the shelf. It has to go through the seasons and, occasions.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. One last one while we have you here. What is a good elevator pitch brands can make once they see you? Let's say someone just met you, or someone just finally got in a meeting with you, or at a trade show like this, they just connected with you. What is a nice elevator pitch that, okay, I like this person, I'll hear your pitch?
Because it absolutely varies. Who's selling the product? I mean, do you have a big name behind it? You're promising me you're going to have marketing support, and it's going to be through all the social media channels. I need to know that I'm going to have that support. That'll pretty much guarantee you a slot on the shelves or a display on the floor. If I know that that you have a program that's going to drive people into the store asking for it. Yeah.
Nice. What about case studies, or do you like? Does it work against you or for you? If I mentioned, okay, we are in this supermarket chain and we're doing so nice, and here's the data. Or would you just say, don't even sell me if you're selling in Walmart?
I
mean, an example.
Yeah. So we like to be competitive and stay in line with our area competitors, but in the Midwest, if you're pitching me something that's selling great in Total Wine or Wegmans or Publix or whatever, those have no bearing on me. It doesn't. I can't gauge that. How well their performance on how well it will do with us. Typically, where we are located, we're 8 to 12 months behind the current market trends.
Okay.
So if you want to pitch to me something that's doing well somewhere else, I'll continue to watch that brand and see how well it continues to perform, and are people looking for it? Are they going to come in and ask for it? Then we'll further our consideration.
Got it. And that data is passed on by your crew, saying that, hey, Kimberly, these people are asking about this wine. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.